Welcome to CRJ 134. This week we're taking a look at Chapter 5, which explores social reaction, conflict, and theory. And this chapter opens with a discussion of social reaction theory, which is also known as labeling theory. Now, labeling theory has its roots in the branch of sociology known as symbolic interactionism. Now, what makes this theory unique is that it focuses on the reaction and the social of the social audience, and not the moral content of the illegal act. So in essence, the theory really posits that deviance is behavior because it's so labeled. Now, becoming labeled is discussed in terms of the impact of being stigmatized. Now, although the chapter really doesn't go into what's called vicarious stigmatization, there is one way that, here's an example of how someone could become stigmatized. So let's say that a family has a juvenile that gets detained, so now everyone in the community must consider them to be a bad family. So they're labeled or stigmatized now. Now, the chapter also discusses the idea that the law is differentially applied, maybe according to race or gender or other factors. Now, do you agree with that? Think of examples that might substantiate your view. Do you agree that racial, age, income, and gender differences in the delinquency rate reflect the fact that the law is differentially constructed and applied? Now, the consequences and sources of labeling are explained in the next section of the chapter. Make sure to take notice that social reaction theory maintains that depending on the visibility of the label and the manner and severity with which it is applied, a person who has been negatively labeled can have an increased commitment to a deviant career. So think about this for a minute. Do you believe that having a negative label will cause a person to become more committed to delinquency and crime? Now, labeling theory has been the subject of academic debate in criminological circles. Now, the text provides several critiques of labeling theory and also discusses why social reaction might play an important role in understanding the kind of ebb and flow of a delinquent career. Now, do you find that approach offers a better explanation of delinquency than theories that we've already discussed so far? Consider how you might defend your position, your belief, either way, using evidence from this chapter as well as the ones preceding it that we've looked at so far. Now, the second main focus of the chapter is on social conflict theory, which is also called critical theory. Now, social conflict theorists really view the law and the justice system as vehicles for controlling the have-not members of society. In other words, the less fortunate, the lower socioeconomic class. Do you agree with that? Now, the chapter also challenges you to think about how the capitalist system affects youth differently at each level of the class structure. Is delinquent behavior a function of the capitalist system's inherent inequality? Now, the text states that minority youth are hit hardest by the effect of globalization. Do you believe that they're also yourself? Do you believe that you're hit hard by the effects of globalization, or is it unique to class structure? Now, the chapter kind of ends with a restorative justice approach, which grew out of a belief that the traditional system has done little to really involve the community in the process of dealing with crime and wrongdoing. So one of the key foundations of that movement is the concept of shame. And according to Brathwaite, shame is a powerful tool of informal social control. He argues that crime control can be better achieved through a policy of reintegrative shaming. Now, do you agree that such an approach would be effective in curtailing delinquency? Or might there be other problems with that? So that's a quick overview of Chapter 5. Next week, we'll take a look at Chapter 6, which explores developmental views of delinquency.